What this bill would do is it would address the practice of block voting by co-ops by authorizing ag and markets to send co-op producers a ballot to vote on issues concerning the milk market here in New York State.
Senator Aubertine, do you yield?
Yes.
Senator yields.
Thank you, Senator Aubertine. I obviously am going to vote for this bill. I think it's a very good bill. And as a matter of fact, I submitted a very similar bill in January of this year. Did you happen to see my bill submitted?
No, Senator, I didn't.
Well, I believe my bill was submitted January 7th, and your bill was February 4th. And it is a good bill. I would have a question to ask, though. In the interest of bipartisanship, why wouldn't we look at the bill that I already had and support that bill? We are doing bipartisanship bills on the floor, I believe.
Well, Senator, I really don't know. I offered this bill up not only in this House, but in the Assembly as well. And I believe that the bill that you have before you today, certainly I would hope for bipartisan support in this chamber to support the dairy farmers of this state. But I believe this bill addresses the issue of block voting, an issue that I am intimately familiar with on a personal level as a former dairy farmer, and I would certainly appreciate your support on it.
Thank you. Will the sponsor yield to another question?
Senator Aubertine, do you continue to yield?
Yes,
Thank
Mr.
you.
President.
Thank you, Senator Aubertine. Are you aware of the differences between your bill and my bill?
No, Senator, I'm not.
Well, the only difference between the two bills is that, in the first place, I am not a former dairy farmer and not quite as familiar, I'm sure, as you are with dairy farming. But I met with the northern agriculture dairy farmers just last week. And we are, for our milk industry and our dairy industry, in a crisis right now, as the dairy price per hundredweight of milk is hovering around $14 and lower. And their cost of producing 100 pounds weight of milk is something like $18. So we are seeing that our dairy farmers are hurting greatly. What this bill does is says that if a co-op who does block voting has a change in the agreement or in the milk order, that they would have to notify the farmer, who many times is not aware of any change in the milk order. My bill says that they need to notify the farmer immediately upon the change of that milk order and what's happening with the price of that milk. And your bill says 30 days. My question to you would be, why 30 days? Isn't that a longer period of time when we're talking about dairy farmers who are in a real crisis because of their costs, what they're not getting paid for their milk? They're not getting paid as much as it costs them to produce that milk.
Well, I would first like to, for the record, the milk futures for March of this month, or of this year rather, are going to be closer to $9, not $14.
Right. Well, they said 14 and dropping.
And USDA cost of production is not $20, but closer to $30. So the difference between the cost of production and the cost being paid at the mailbox is, at the very least, to say, extreme. But having said that, this issue deals with more than just price, and I can cite you several instances. Probably the one instance would be component pricing, which in and of itself does not set the price of milk. But any issue dealing with the milk marketing order here in New York State, as I'm sure you're aware, has been in the past dealt with with block voting. Mm-hmm. And block voting is the culprit here. We need to address block voting. this bill does that. It allows Ag and Markets 30 days to notify, and I believe that's a reasonable amount of time. I think and again, I've not read your entire bill, but I think to require an instantaneous response may be a little bit much. And again, I do believe with the 30 days, we can do what we need to do. We can notify farmers. We can allow them to make their own decision, whether to be construed as part of a block vote or to vote individually. And this bill will accomplish just that.
Thank you. However, may I ask another question of the sponsor?
Senator, do you continue to yield?
Yes.
Yeah.
Senator yields.
I still believe that in a crisis such as this, that giving 30 days to the dairy co-op to notify the farmer of a change in the milk order or any amendments to the program is too long. Would you consider amending your bill so that it would be immediately?
Well, Senator, I would take that under advisement, I guess. But again, just for clarification, I'm not aware of any current amendments to the milk marketing order here in New York State currently that would address the shortcomings in the milk pricing crisis that we're facing today. So, as I said earlier, this bill, as much as I would like it to, in all likelihood, is not going to address the crisis that's here in front of us. This bill would allow farmers, as I said, to vote on milk marketing order issues.
Thank you. Would the sponsor yield for another question?
Senator Aubertine, do you continue to yield?
Sure.
Senator yields.
Thank you. Senator Aubertine, do you have a sponsor in the Assembly for this bill?
Not at this point in time.
So it's a one-house bill.
At this point.
Thank you. On the bill.
Senator Little on the bill.
Thank you. No, right now I don't believe that any business or any group is more important to New York State than the farmers. We're all interested in where our food comes from, the quality of our food, the types of regulations that our food processors are under. And I would hope that we would do everything we can to help our farmers out. And in so doing, I would still like to encourage the sponsor of this bill to have the bill immediately. This is the same bill as I had. The only difference is 30 days versus notifying them immediately of any changes. So I still would ask him to do that, and I will vote in the affirmative on this bill. Thank you.